I went to wife's parents and found out that the reason for her trying to move to another state with our 3 kids was to be closer to her BF. And this is just the tip of an iceberg. We dated for 3 years prior to our 12-year marriage to my 35-year-old wife. 3 children total, 10 male, 7 female, and 5 female. We both have full-time jobs in different industries. I operate a computer repair company owned by a buddy and in my spare time write short stories. She works in some sort of chemistry that I don't understand. Though I provide the fun money for our family and would go insane without a part-time job, she is undoubtedly the primary provider for the 2 of us. Her job has also allowed us to fully purchase our home. In addition, my parents look after the children when we are at work during the week. Since our son was born, things have always been this way. But now that they are all enrolled in school, they are doing it less. However, the daycare is provided at no cost. Money is only accepted as reimbursement for the cost of food. Now that the background information has been established, this is where the issue arises. My spouse began bringing up the subject of a potential promotion a few months ago. This would have allowed her to leave the lab and take on a more manage the lab team role, which would pay more and involve fewer hazardous hours. She's been working there since her master's internship and now that she has a PhD, so I've been talking her up and telling her she's a shoo-in for the promotion ever since she first mentioned it. She informed me last night that assuming she received it, she would find out today. I contacted my boss this morning after she went for work to let him know I couldn't make it in today. I then told my parents what the kids were saying with me. We made a banner, drew cards of congratulations, and cleaned the house all day long. If she didn't understand it, we also made her a couple cards that say we love you and sorry. She arrived home earlier than usual, so I started preparing her favorite supper, lobster rolls with lobster bisque, well, because she is such a fancy lady. Everyone was taken aback by the sight of each other, as normally nobody is home at this hour. Upon realizing all we still needed to do, she broke down in tears, gave our 2 youngest children hugs, and announced she had been promoted, yelling with everyone. That's when she revealed the big secret. In order for us to move within the next 2 months, we need to find a realtor in a state 3 distance away. After being taken aback, I simply responded, "No, we're not moving for this promotion." She never brought up the fact that the promotion wasn't for the same place she had been working at in any of her speeches. Our entire family, her parents and mine, as well as all of our friends are present and I work here. She stated that she had previously discussed moving, but I can assure you that she never did. That started an entirely new argument about how I would be able to stay at home with the kids and not even need a fun money job if I never listened to her and only heard what I wanted to hear. She was using her phone while we were having this dispute. And when I questioned why, she replied that she was messaging my parents to grab the kids so they wouldn't have to witness it. Upon their arrival, my parents congratulated her on her promotion and inquired about the timing of our transfer. She informed my parents that moving was part of the promotion. I can't face her at the moment, so I'm composing this from the downstairs couch. She most likely did say we would have to move if she won it, given that my parents are aware of it. I like my job in our house, and I don't want to move. I enjoy being close to my folks. We would essentially be set for life if we did this, but I don't want to. Though I realize I'm being conceited and that I must not be paying attention to her, I still believe she shouldn't take the promotion. Still, I say no. Update. I wanted to get this in as quickly as possible, even though it has only been up for a few hours. Many things have happened since I submitted this in a little less than a month ago. Some details: growing up, I was evaluated for attention deficit disorder, ADD, but I never received a diagnosis. Perhaps as I get older, that will change. Considering that she has repeatedly told me her exact job description and it hasn't stuck in my memory, I should probably get checked for ADHD. Is there a connection between it and the environmental testing, as in earth, water, etc.? It's not overly hazardous, but there's always a chance, because it includes chemicals. Generally speaking, they spoke a lot about her potential promotion and largely about buying new automobiles and gadgets. Beyond that, it was never truly detailed. To be honest, I have no idea why my parents never brought it up. I suppose I should ask them eventually. Although they have pals at school, our children haven't really talked to me about anything in these few weeks. In my opinion, everyone seemed to be treading carefully around me. Nevertheless, my son had some thoughts following the argument, stating that we wanted a school with a competitive soccer team. I fled to hide in the basement when my parents came back with the kids and she stormed up to our room. I wanted both of us to calm down, even though I knew I was being a coward. I know it was dumb of me to ask on Tumblr, but I've been here since 2010. I was retreating into a once secure sanctuary. That subsequent discussion never took place. Instead, the following morning, she pretended that everything was all right and that there had never been an argument in the first place. It was strange, but I had made up my mind to stand by my wife following our fight in front of the kids and my ranting session here. I was obviously at fault if my parents were aware that we were moving. Let's go on to the update. We had a realtor showing us houses close to her new office within days of the announcement. After we selected a property based on images, she intended to be the one to conduct the last walkthrough so she could multitask and become comfortable at her new work site. I didn't want to upset her any further, so I followed her recommendation. Right now, our conversations were limited to logistics. What would we do about moving? When was my last day? Where would the kids be moved, etc.? She spoke in a very stiff manner, and whenever I tried to speak to her regularly, she would ignore me. The following time I went into work, one of her colleagues brought in her children's broken laptop. The screen essentially struck the user's face with a sports ball. She questioned me about our children's reaction to the transfer as I was completing the intake form. She said that she was referring to the transfer request that my wife had submitted when I questioned what she meant. She said that the promotion had moved her to the office. I informed her that my wife received a promotion along with a transfer rather than submitting a transfer request. Then she informed me that my wife had received that promotion in January and that her transfer request had just been granted. The pay increase that came with the promotion. After she went, I used my phone to check our bank account and saw that she was still receiving the same amount that she had always received. I went home and talked to my wife about it, even though I thought my coworker must have been mistaken. She explained to me that the coworker was only trying to stir up more turmoil in our home because she was jealous that she didn't get the promotion. I was able to apologize to her for the misunderstanding and the disagreement after that, which helped to melt the ice a little. She informed me that she understood and accepted the apologies, stating that she had thought it would come from my helpfulness and attention to detail. She said I was paying closer attention than usual, and she was grateful for it. She must have discussed this with the coworker at some point since she glared at me the entire time she arrived to pick up the laptop a few days later and wouldn't say anything to me other than hello, and here's the bill. Following the discussion, everything appeared to calm down. Although I wasn't thrilled about the move, I also didn't want our family to disintegrate because I wasn't giving it my all. The last straw was this altered mindset. In order to be ready for the move, we had started rearranging our belongings, giving away and donating items we didn't even realize we had, etc. She usually hid the Christmas presents for the kids, so I was searching through a closet when I discovered a couple outdated laptops. She said that I found her birthday present for me, just a few items to fiddle with while we settle, and that she hides everyone's gifts in that closet. It was a little strange, but not really strange. I know about as much about her job as she does mine, most likely. I also discovered some books that were her mother's. Her parents had never been fond of me, so I reasoned that I could start to make amends and deliver the books to them. Although I kept this from my wife, I'm sure she forgot they were there given the amount of dust on them. We are a couple hours away from her parents' house. They would still be states away after the transfer, but not nearly as close as my parents. I didn't stop halfway or anything. I drove the whole distance. Although we had a strange meeting, her mother was grateful that I had brought the books to them. It seems that she believed she had misplaced them. Over our late lunch, we engaged in some uncomfortable small talk, during which I inquired about their thoughts on my wife's move and promotion. Things were slowly coming apart, and they appeared a little bewildered. Her mother claims that after she received the promotion in January, she brought it up. She had told her father that we were putting the extra cash aside just in case because my employer and I were preparing to launch a business. She said that I would be running a location that we would try to open in the city where we were moving. Her parents expressed their gratitude that she was able to transfer with her promotion to the other office, but they were realistically not optimistic that this would work well because they knew I'd had some unsuccessful investments and schemes in the past. Guys, I didn't know what they were discussing. Plans or investments? I haven't invested money in my life and have worked at the same job since college. I agreed with them and added that I was heading home to speak with my wife. I was essentially living in my own little world, so I have no idea how people responded. Most likely shouldn't have operated a vehicle. That trip home, so much was going through my mind, and I was prepared to face her with it all. She told me everything, I assume because her folks contacted her when I was going back, and it really got to her. She had been unfaithful to me for years. She opened a second bank account and asked them to divide the check between the two after receiving the promotion in January. The new account was accessible to her lover in the place we were going to. He was the owner of a house already, but he had made some repairs with some of the money, and was waiting for us to arrive, I suppose to get her off her low after my business venture went bust. She has been lying to my parents and kids for years, withholding information about our planned move, and tainting her parents' perception of me. She also claimed that I never paid attention to her and that the misunderstanding was just one more incident, according to the colleague who initiated this discussion. She admitted to me that she had never imagined so many things would fall apart at once. She still intends to relocate. The kids and I aren't.